Journey Together is crashing, singles are all on the floor, even the sealed product is going down like crazy. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Rax and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be checking out on Journey Together on why the sealed product is going down, why the singles are crashing, and everything in between. So let's get started. First, we're going to check the cards and then the sealed product. First up, we got the Lily's Clefairy. Good look, guys. Lily's Clefairy has been crashing like crazy. Pre-release, it was over 300, almost 400 on eBay. On day one, it was at $400, but now it's been crashing below $200. Most recent sold for $197, and there's even listings for $190. That's a very huge decrease in value. Salaman's kind of the same thing, but not as extreme as the Lily's Clefairy. Now it's at $113. It was pre-releasing for over $240, and I remember seeing on eBay for around $300, $250, but now most recently sold for $102, with a lot of sales around that $102, around that $110 mark. So it might flatline around $100, but then it could just simply continue to go down over time. Same with the Zorak. I remember there was a listing for $450 that it actually sold on day one of pre-release, and now it's at $106 market value, with some sales even underneath $100, but the cheapest one you can buy right now in TCG players around $100. Next up is Iono's Bellable, kind of the same thing as the Zorak. I remember day one it sold for $450, and then it was like $200, but now it's actually below $90. It's $89 right now. The most recent sold was for $80, and the cheapest listing right now is around $82. You might look at the graph and think it's actually going up, but not really. The first ever sold was $30, which seems kind of weird when on eBay it was like $400, $200, $300, but then it's immediately going back down to around $80, $90. Even some of the illustration rares are going down. Articuno was pre-selling for around $70 to $80, and I remember on eBay on day one is around $140 on day one, and now it's selling for less than the $35. The cheapest one you can buy right now is $30 with 99 cents. Then we go to the Whalen, also selling for around $20, almost with some little sales underneath $20, but it seems to be kind of flatlining at that $20 mark, kind of a support line. So hopefully we'll see this card going back up, because I do think it's really cool looking. And don't just think it's just the singles, it's actually the sealed product as well. It's going down very fast. It's a race to the bottom. The ETB is around $70. Look at this, it was at a high $120, $110, but now it's already crashing to lower than $70 per ETB, with the cheapest one you can buy right now on TCG players around $72. And not just the regular ETB, the Pokemon Center ETB is also crashing like crazy, with one pre-release sold for $399, but now it's down to $137 each. Most recent sold for $140, $134, $140, and the cheapest one you can buy right now is $130 plus 10 shipping. So it's probably going to sell around the $140 mark, and then it's going to slowly start going up from there. And speaking of which, the Zora Pokemon Center stamp promo is at around $51. Most recent sold for around $44, $43, $45, and the cheapest one you can buy right now is $39 plus 1 shipping. And last but definitely not least is the enhanced booster box. It was selling around $400 to $700 on pre-release. I don't think that's real, but still it was selling for over $260, $400 on pre-release, and now it's crashing for selling less than $215 per box. Remember, this is the enhanced booster box with the promo. Speaking of the promo, let's look at the promo real quick. Right now it's at $16 with 6 cents. It's been selling for around that 13, one bought 10 for 17, one bought 9 for 14. The cheapest one you can buy right now is one singular one for $14.98. It was actually selling for less than $13 for a little bit, but since there's so many sales going on, like 42 daily, but if we actually take a look at it closer, we see in like a period of one day there's like 170 sold, 188, 100. So there's so many of these selling very quickly that it might just go back up in price. And at the same time, the more expensive this gets, the booster box will get even more expensive over time. You guys get the idea. All the cards and all the sealed product are going down like crazy, but why is this happening? Look, this is actually very normal for Pokemon to just be very hot on pre-release and then continue to crash down and go very cheap on release. Thing is, guys, we're so used to like Surging Sparks and Prismatic Evolutions to just, as soon as they come to release, they just blow up in price and they continually go up. But that's not normal. Those two cases is actually not normal at all. Sure, we did see a decrease of value when it comes to like Surging Sparks booster boxes and also the ETBs for prismatic evolutions, but that's not normal, guys. That's actually not normal. Usually they just go down and then they flatline for a while, but what we saw with Surging Sparks prismatic evolution was a little dip and then immediately go back up. That is not normal. For every set before Surging Sparks, except for Twilight Masquerade, but I'll get to that in a minute, every card and every set and every sealed product kind of tends to crash down and go down very aggressively. Like Pika Pika Papa says, it's called the Pokemon pop and flop. Come out very, very high and then they crash down very, very hard. You know, they pop and flop. But when I say except for Twilight Masquerade, because Twilight Masquerade was the only set where we kind of saw a card kind of go up in value immediately after release. It was for the Greninja. I remember the Greninja pre-selling for around 140, 150. I remember being able to buy one $140 at Facebook Marketplace. I was like, oh, I'll just wait until it goes down to like $70, $80 because that was the norm. We were used to cards being above $100, above $200 at pre-release, but then they just go down, down and down and down, like the Obsidian Flame Charizard, the Terrapagos, the Roaring Moon. We always thought that cards were just gonna keep going down and keep going down until they flatline, establish a new low, and then they slowly go up depending on the demand. But no, that was the first time with Greninja that it actually just started to go up after release. That was very, very not normal. That was very weird to when it comes to set releases, and it kind of like gave us a warning shot on like, hey, this is gonna happen with the next upcoming sets. Also, if we look at Journey Together as a whole, it's a very, very small set, so it's very easy to get the cards that you want. The hit rates aren't as bad as everyone think they are. You know, when it comes to prismatic evolutions, it has the same exact hit rate. However, the problem is that if you want a very specific one, it's very hard for prismatic. But for Journey, once you actually get an SAR, it's a very high chance you getting the one that you want. The pull rates for Journey Together and prismatic evolutions and even Surging Spark aren't very far apart from each other. The problem is that when you want a specific card, that is the problem. Pretty sure it was 60 packs for an SAR for all three sets, but since Journey Together is a very small set, once you actually hit an SAR, you have like a 1 in 6 chance of getting the card that you want. But in prismatic evolutions, it's a 1 in 32 chance. The odds may seem harder to get what you want, but not really, if you catch my drift. Plus, it kind of seems like we have a lot more supply when it comes to Journey Together compared to prismatic evolutions, because everyone, let's just face it, Journey Together doesn't hold the candle to prismatic evolution. Sure, it has really cool cards. I think the Zoroark is very, very cool. The Zacian looks pretty nice. The gold Zoroark looks really cool. The Articuno is beautiful, and even the Reshiram. But you cannot compare this set to prismatic evolution and everything that it has to offer. I think all this is very normal, and this will happen to small sets. This is a very small set. Plus, I've seen that we've been getting a lot more restocks when it comes to Journey Together compared to prismatic evolutions and Surging Sparks. Even this morning at the time of recording this video, which is April 11th, we've seen a lot of restocks already for Journey Together. Plus, let's face it, not everyone is hyped up for Journey Together compared to prismatic evolution, Surging Sparks, and also Destined Rivals is right around the corner. Destined Rivals will completely trump this set, and I think a lot of the cards will go down even further thanks to Destined Rivals being kind of around the corner, around like 2 or 3 months from now. I still think Journey Together is going to be a really good set in the long term. It might get a couple of reprints down the line. We don't know if the reprints will come with an enhanced booster box or a regular booster box. We still don't know about that, but it all depends on what they do. I do kind of think history is somewhat repeating itself with Cosmic Eclipse and then Team Up with Destined Rivals coming around the corner. I do think that's gonna be like they're giving off the same vibe right now, so be careful for Destined Rivals. I do think a lot of people are just saving their money for Destined Rivals since it's basically right around the corner. Pre-orders, pre-releases. I'm not going super crazy on Journey Together. I got a couple boxes and then some Pokemon Center ETVs, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.